really fast start, which was important offensively. First couple drives, blocking a field goal, big momentum swings in the game. I think at this time of the year, though, when we didn't do things as well as we would like, it came back to a lot of the fundamentals that, are pretty basic to being able to execute at your position. So I don't think things like that can go unnoticed at this time of the year. And guys have to develop good practice habits in terms of what they do and make sure they're still focusing on the process of what they need to do to play well. We got a couple guys, like always, that'll be a little slow today, probably AJ and Amari Cooper, but we look for them to progress, pretty rapidly through the week and be okay, probably even tomorrow. This is a great team that we're playing and a great program. I think the most important thing for us to do is focus on preparing to play our best football. It's always what's important when you play good teams, is to do a good job in preparation, have a good understanding of what you want to do. When you're playing on the road, it takes a special focus to be able to execute and do the things and stay tuned to what you have to do to be successful. These guys have obviously been pretty successful at home. They've got the longest winning streak in the country. Les Miles, to me, has done as good a job as anybody in our league ever has in terms of what he's been able to accomplish and the consistency that they've accomplished, as a team there through the years here in his 8 years at LSU. This year's team, they still got great running backs, and they're still able to run the ball very, very effectively. And winning on the line of scrimmage in this game, both sides of the ball, is probably, one of the most important factors in the game. They're a ball-hawking, big turnover type of defense that creates a lot of negative plays for you. They still have really good explosive players on offense to make big plays down the field. So if you're trying to load up to stop the run, you can create problems for yourself. So, this is a really, really good team. They've got good specialists, good punter, good kickers, good return guys. They're ranked nationally in a lot of different categories because they're very well coached and they've got really good players. They do a good job of executing their scheme on both sides of the ball. So, they're ranked where they're ranked because they're a really, really good team. It's a very challenging game for us. And to me, you can't be a good quarterback unless you're a good game manager, right? Because you got the ball in your hand every time, and you're making some kind of choice and decision of what to do with it. Whether you hand it off, what play you hand it off on, where you throw it in the passing game, and you got to process a lot of information quickly and make quick decisions. So I don't think it's fair to AJ that because I said he's a really good game manager for us, that it's like that means that he doesn't do anything. He does everything, and that's I don't think you can be a good quarterback unless you're a really good game manager. So that's the ultimate compliment to me. You have to have the ability to make plays, but we've certainly been able to, make a few with our quarterback this year, and I think it's going to be important that we continue to be able to do that as well. Well, you kind of sound like my wife now. She grumbles a lot when I go home because she says we run the ball up the middle. But, I think that direct runs, which some people may say run the ball up the middle is a bad thing, but, we package a lot of our plays, and when we get the look that we want, we try to, our offensive line, likes to be physical and aggressive, so our backs do a good job of running the ball inside. We've made some explosive runs, running the ball inside, but we also run the ball fairly effectively on the perimeter, and I think it's a combination of those things that are important, to do. And we're trying to do the best that we can do with the players that we have to feature their talents in terms of what we need to do to be successful. And when we execute, we do a pretty good job of it. Sometimes times when we don't look so good doing it. So I think it comes down to execution, whether it's inside run, outside run, play action pass, drop back pass, and I think all those things are really, really important. We've always had two backs. It's sort of a philosophical thing that we like to have two backs. I think durability is such a critical factor, in running backs that if you play one guy all the time, it enhances his chances of maybe not being able to continue to play at the same level. So it's always been our goal to play two guys, not always equally, but fairly equally, to where both guys have a better chance to sustain the season at a high level and are productive throughout.